Hey, this is Laura from Purl Soho, and I'm going to show you how to work double knitting with two colors. Double knitting is this wonderful technique where you can create two sides or two layers of fabric simultaneously. And when you're doing double knitting with two colors, you can get the color you want on the side you want. The design elements and applications are pretty limitless, but today I'm going to just show you the basics. The basics have a 4-row repeat, and I'm going to show you all 4 rows. Row 1 of double knitting in two colors is worked with either the main color or yarn A. For us, it's this browner color of the two, and it has just a 2-stitch repeat all the way to the end. So the first thing you're going to do is knit one, then bring your yarn to the front in order to slip one purlwise. And then you just repeat those steps. So knit one, slip one purlwise with yarn in front. Knit one, slip one purlwise with yarn in front. You may notice that when I'm working with main color, I'm working into the stitches that are the same color. Here I am at the end of row 1, and you can see I have both of my working yarns coming off this edge, and I'm ready to turn my work in order to work row 2. So here we go. I've turned my work. Now the very important step to make sure you do before you begin working row 2 is how you carry your yarn up the side. It's going to either, if done properly, you'll close up this side seam, and if not, you'll have an opening here on the side. So what I want to do is identify the yarn I just worked with and the yarn I'm about to work with. The yarn I'm about to work with, I want to bring it underneath the yarn I just worked with. And now I'm ready to begin working row 2. It's going to seem very similar to row 1. So I'm going to knit one, and then I'm going to slip one purlwise with yarn in front. Again, very similar to row 1, but this time I'm working with the white yarn and I'm working into the stitches on my needle that are white. Here I am at the end of row 2, having just worked the row with this white strand. And to work row 3, I'm going to need my main color, or this brown strand over here. So what that means is, instead of turning my work, what I want to do is slide my work. I want to slide it all the way to the other end of my needle. And then once your work is all the way at that tip of the needle, you're ready to work row 3. Row 3, similar to the other rows, just has a 2-step repeat for the entire row. The first thing you're going to do is slip one purlwise with the yarn in back. Then you're going to purl one. Let's do that again. Slip one purlwise with the yarn in back, purl one. Slip one, purl one. You may notice that once again, when I'm working with the brown color yarn, I'm working into the brown stitches. Here I am at the end of row 3, and you can see I have both of my working yarns here coming off of this edge, and so now it's time to turn my work in order to work row 4. Before you begin row 4, make sure to carry your yarn, your working yarn, which is the white yarn for row 4. You're going to kind of pull it up and in front of, and then to the back of the other yarn that you just worked with. So the new yarn you're going to work with, kind of pull it in front of and then to the back. And now we're ready to start row 4. Ooh, let me get untangled here. All right. So to do row 4, it's going to seem very similar to row 3. I'm going to slip one purlwise with yarn in back, and then bring my yarn to the front in order to purl one. Slip one purlwise with yarn in back, purl one. Slip one purlwise with yarn and back, purl one. And once again, you may notice that when I'm working with the white yarn, I'm working into the white stitches. So here I am at the end of row 4. You can see I just finished the row working it with this white strand here. And row 4 is the last of your 4-row repeat. And so what I want to do is make sure I'm prepared for row 1. And row 1 uses the main color, or this brown color. So once again, what we're going to do is slide our work all the way to the other end of the needle. And now you're ready to start again at the top with row 1. All right, I have a bit of a bonus clip here. For any of you who are working our double knit blanket pattern, you're gonna come across a step that involves a tack down. You can see these tack downs have create this really beautiful dash. They also join together the 2 layers of fabric that you're creating. Working the tack down is pretty simple, but I'm gonna show you how. I'm going to take 2 normal stitches first, and then we'll do the tack down, and then I'm going to take 2 more stitches. So in this row, this step I would want to slip one purlwise with yarn and back, and then I'm going to purl one, and now I'm going to work my tack down stitch. Now, whereas I normally would be slipping all the white stitches with yarn and back, I want to slip this stitch with yarn in front to create that tack down. Now my next stitch is a purl stitch, so I'm going to leave my yarn in front in order to purl, and then bring my yarn to the back in order to continue in pattern, slipping this stitch with yarn and back. And you can see here, this teeny little dash. It's a little hard to see this close to the needle, but you can see what happens here farther down on my swatch. Yeah, that's it. That's how you do a tack down in our double knit blanket.